Mark Adams, and welcome to episode 16 of Marksmess Podcast. We're with my daughters Charlotte and Catherine.
Charlotte and Catherine. Charlotte and Catherine.
Okay, we don't have time. We look at the world of geekery using the alphabet as our guide. This month the letter is N.
For Monopoly.
We're not for any type of ice cream we're not allowed to mention.
No.
But and not, as Patrick Delamore suggested, N for November the 11th, which is when the Justice League movie comes out, I suspect. But we're going to look at novels and novelizations.
M.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our favourite novels. We're going to look at what novelizations are. There'll be a wee bit of a surprise for the girls. And then we're going to close the show, and after that...
The show is a podcast, not a show.
It's a podcast show.
It's not a show, you can't see them. Hello!
It's a show, you can have a radio show. And you think we should be able to see them?
Oh, they can't see us. Weird.
They can't see us, which is probably good, because I've got a face for radio.
It's like a limo. You can see them, but they can't see you.
Like a limo, yes. Podcasting is just like a limo. Anyway, after the credits, we're going to talk. Charlotte and I will talk about our experiences going to see Wonder Woman, so it'll be spoiler-filled. Well, that's why it's after the credits, so warnings for that. So, on social media, Charlotte and I mentioned we were at Wonder Woman. A few people are quite intrigued about what we're going to say, and thank you for that. We'll find out afterwards. We also had our friends the Sutherlands from Trekker Talk.
Trekkertalk.com.
They were at a comic book convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they sent, especially for Charlotte, a picture of lots of different places called Charlotte in America, a signpost pointing to the different ways. Did you know there were so many places called after you?
There's even Charlotte Street.
There's Charlotte Street where we live, but I think they're all named after the Charlotte who is George III's wife, who was Queen Charlotte.
I don't think it's named after either me or Princess Charlotte.
I don't think so. But there are places in America who are named after the second and I think the sixth president of the United States, who was an Adams. So potentially there is a place called Charlotte in Adams County. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows of that, let us know. And also, if you follow our other podcast, John Adams Letters from the Front, John Adams is back in the front 100 years ago now and heading towards Passchendaele, if you want to check that podcast out. Right, girls, novels. I have asked you to choose round about 5 of your favourite novels. And you've done so. I will tell you my favourite novels. Now, novels are things you may have read once or you may have read several times. You two are very prolific readers. You read a lot. You read a lot.
I've read one of my books like 6 or 7 times.
And I couldn't do that because I know so well what's going to happen.
I know, but you read that book and then you read like 5 or 6 other books and then you forget parts of it and then you remember it and you're just like,
I just read it because I like reading it.
Would you just finish it, then start reading it again, and then finish it, then
well, once I did that, like, I would read a book, and then, I would read it, and then read another book, and then read it again, and maybe read another book, and then read it again, and maybe read another book, and then read it again.
Okay, your books aren't necessarily science fiction or fantasy, but my books tend to be like that. Here are my favourite 5. Now, they're my favourite 5 at the moment, and they're not in any particular order. I don't think we've ordered them in the top 5.
No.
So mine are The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. And it's about a future war where the novel uses Newtonian science. In other words, there's a thing in science where the faster you get to the speed of light, the slower your time goes compared to everyone else's. So if you take a year to go to the nearest star at close to the speed of light and then come back again, you've aged 2 years and people on Earth have aged 100 years, something like that.
Wait,
That's science. The faster you get to the speed of light, the slower time goes for you. It's very weird and sciencey. So anyway, but Forever War is a really good novel. I recommend it to anyone. My second is the Babylon 5 series of novels on the Psycorps. The Psycorps... Babylon. Okay. Babylon 5 was a 90s TV show about a space station, which was the last best hope for mankind.
Yours were all very spacey and
yeah, because I'm big into my spacey sci-fi.
old things.
It is by Gregor Keyes, and it charts a history from the beginning of the Psy-Corps to the very end of it with Bester. If you don't know who Bester is, you need to watch Babylon 5. Someday you too will watch Babylon 5.
No.
We will volunteer to watch, or we'll be forced to watch it.
Oh, you'll be forced. Trust me. My third one is Polaris Whisper. This is the first and so far only novel by Kenneth Gregory, a native of Northern Ireland. It is a book about Ireland during the Viking times. And it's kind of a cross between a Viking story, Game of Thrones, and Santa Claus. I really enjoyed it. It's one of those books you pick up at a Comic-Con. I eventually read it, and I got through it within a couple of days, which is unusual for me. Next one is Men at Arms by Terry Pratchett. I do enjoy the Pratchett books, and very much I enjoy the Guards series of books. These are fantasy set in a world that's a disc on top of 4 elephants, which in turn are on top of a turtle flying through space. It's just
That
about...
doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. You would enjoy it, Charlotte, I think, because he takes sort of things that we take for granted or stories that we know of, and he warps them into that world. The Guards books are based around all those old movies of swashbucklers and castles like Robin Hood. And, well, what did the Guards get up to? He wrote, one I'm listening to on BBC Radio at the moment is Weird Sisters, which is based on Hamlet or Macbeth. Yeah, the one with the witches at the start.
Macbeth.
Macbeth.
I don't like Macbeth. The school did a play of it and it was very boring. Best part was the ice cream, and even that wasn't that good.
Anyway, my fifth one is this Next Generation book, Vendetta by Peter David.
It sounds like a type of cheese.
Vendetta?
Sounds like ice cream.
A Vendetta ice cream? You two are obsessed with ice cream in the past couple episodes. Vignetta? Vignetta?
No,
Viennetta?
Viennetta.
Viennetta.
Still sounds like cheese, I think.
Good grief. This is quite a large novel, quite thick. And it was probably the first full sort of big boy novel I ever read. Yeah, I was about 18 at the time. I picked it up and it was great because it dealt with characters I knew of. It dealt with the Borg. It dealt with a whole lot of stuff. So those are my 5 favourite novels at the moment. Now, as we go through life, we'll read different things and things we'll like them in different ways. And some of the things we liked when we were younger will seem a bit more silly. So, what are your 5 favourite novels, Charlotte?
It's called What Not to Do If You Turn Invisible by Ross Welford.
Welford, I think that's right.
It's by the author The Time Travelling with a Hamster.
Which we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm. That's about this girl who turns invisible.
Right. Would you like to be invisible?
Nah.
Okay, next one.
It's The Longest Wheel Song by Jacqueline Wilson.
And Jacqueline Wilson is one of both of your favourite authors. I see you've got more books by her. And
it's about this girl called Ella, and her mum has a baby, and then her mum goes into a coma. And then at the very end, the girl Ella, she plugs in like headphones to listen to whale music for her mum.
Mm-hmm.
And then her mum wakes up because of that. Then the next one is Opal Plumstead by Jacqueline Wilson.
I love the name Opal Plumstead.
It's either Opal Plumstead or Opal Plumstead. I say Opal Plumstead.
I would go Opal Plumstead.
Yeah, it's about this girl. It's just before the First World War. It's about this girl called Opal, and her dad gets caught for, can't remember what it is, but he basically stole some money from his work. Then he gets put into prison, then Opal has to get out of school, stop going to school and work in a sweet factory, and then she falls in love with the sweet factory's owner's son.
How sweet of her.
And then he goes away to fight and he dies, and then he was gonna...
Not so sweet.
He was gonna go to art school, and then his mum says Opal can take his place, and then she falls in love again, and that's where it ends. The next one's called The Secret Cooking Club by Laurel Remington. And it's about this girl called Scarlett, and her mum does a blog about her, and then Scarlett finds this like really nice kitchen next door where the old lady lives, but the old lady never seems to be there. So she starts cooking in it, and then other people, like one of her friends from school, joins her, and then she forms a club out of it.
Okay.
The fifth one It's called Angels in Training, but it's really just representing a series of books called, I don't know what they're called. They're by Karen McCombie. It's about this girl called Riley, and she finds out her next door neighbours are angels that are there to help her glow brighten because her glow has dulled.
That's good. So that's your 5 best pick at the moment.
No, I have 6.
You've got 6?
And my 6th one is What Katie Did by Jacqueline Wilson.
Right, What Katie Did. That sounds a bit like an old...
I think it's just called Katie. And it's about this girl called Katie, and she falls out.
Just for that's Katie is Ballymoney for Katie.
She falls out of a tree when she's climbing it, and then she's paralysed from, I think it's the chest downwards. Then she has to go in a wheelchair, and she has to learn how to adapt to life and all.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Charlotte. I know you've read things like Harry Potter as well, and the what do you call it? Hunger Games as well. How do they compare to these ones?
They're still very good.
Still very good. And it's good to have a broad range of reading, so that's good. Catherine, what have you got for us in your pick of round about 5 of your favourite novels?
Well, one of them is reading it I was reading it in school. It's called Seekers, the Great Bear Lake.
You don't know who it's by?
Aaron Hunter.
Aaron Hunter. And what it's about?
It's about, there's 2 different sort of parts to it. One of them is about this bear called Lucy, and this other bear's mom had died, but the other bear went away. So then she has to try and find that bear and tell her about that bear's mom, and then they meet another bear who can change into different animals and stuff, and they have to adventure to a place where spirits meet. The other bit is where this bear called Calic, it has to try and find the ice place or something.
Right, okay. What's your next one?
The next one is Clover Moon, and it's by Jacqueline Wilson. And it's about a girl, I think it's in olden times, where she's got a stepmother and she doesn't like her, and then she runs away. The next one is Wave Me Goodbye by Jacqueline Wilson again. I haven't read all of it, but
I see the bookmark, which is about 3/4 of the way through.
It's about this girl called Shirley, and it's in one of the wars, and she has to go to this they all went to the village hall to get rehoused, and then but nobody wanted her and 4 other people, but the other 2 people got home, so it was just her and 2 boys, but they did eventually get home.
Okay, next one.
Next one is Dork Diaries Frenemies Forever by Rachel.
Rachel Rennie Russell.
And it's about this girl called Nikki, and she has to go to this other school for a week, and there's this bully at the school who used to be at her school called Mackenzie, and it turns out there's actually another bully as well, so she has to deal with the both of them.
Okay. Now, these next one are ones you've talked about before.
Is it?
Yes, you've talked about these ones before.
What?
Yes.
The next one is one that's 2 books in one book, and it's Survivors, The Empty City and a Hidden Enemy, and it's by Aaron Hunter.
Right, and these are the ones about the dogs that are having basic adventures.
Yeah. The last one is called Queenie by Jacqueline Wilson.
I think, is this the one we read you to when you were a bit younger?
No.
No?
That was Cookie.
Oh, Cookie.
Oh, yeah. And then I've read it 6 or 7 times. It's basically about this girl, and she has no friends, and then her leg is always hurted. So then she had to go to the doctor, and the doctor said she had some sort of...
TB?
Yeah, she had TB. So then she had to go to the hospital, and everyone was mean to her and stuff.
Okay. Jacqueline Wilson seems to be quite... features quite a lot in your books. You two really like her. Jacqueline Wilson, is she still the children's laureate in the UK? Or has she? She's been, definitely. And she was even on an episode of Horrible Histories where they talked about female writers. I mean, she's really good. She writes...
She's a dame as well.
That's an honour from the Queen.
Basically a sir.
Something like that.
But
That's
the only thing is, some of them are like quite the same.
They're all about children that have had a hard time.
There's
So-
no happy ending, really.
Is there no happy endings?
There is in
I like a
some of
happy
them.
ending.
There is in some of them.
Right. When you two, that's a great selection. I'm very proud of you two being good readers because I'm not a good reader. I find it really hard to read. But what I've done is I've thought about the books that, well, we would have read you two when you were young. And I've put a top 5 books I've read my children. See if you agree.
Surprise.
What?
Is this a surprise?
This is one of the surprises. Another surprise.
More than one?
There's more surprises. At number 5, we have Mr. Topsy-Turvy.
Oh yeah.
One of the
Mr. Man.
Mr. Men books.
Sorry.
Okay. At number 4, we have The Huge Bag of Worries.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. At number 3, we have Charlie and Lola books.
Yeah.
At number 2, we've got Big Bear, Little Bear.
Wait,
Yeah, but the two bears.
I sort of remember
Well
it.
done, Little Bear.
I kind of remember it.
And at number 1, my favourite to read to you two, and I think one of your favourites for me to read. Can you guess what it is? Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
I used to race for it. I used to have to do the whole, the last bit where it was, I do not like them in a box, do not like them out, with a box, or do not like them in a box and do not like them with a fox. Anyway, all that in one breath used to challenge me every time. There was a good times, and we should do it again sometime.
Yeah. Do it in the
I think it's in
podcast.
Catherine's bookcase.
Do it now live.
No, because we don't have the rights to it.
It's in the attic.
It's in the attic in one of the things. Right. So, I mean, there's 4 lists of books, and which is great. But those are novels. Novelization is slightly different. A novel is sort of a fictional story or fictionalized story. A novelization is when you take something like a movie and you turn it into a book. So it's not based, the book's not based on something original. It's based on a thing. And most movies, especially the action movies, young people's movies, would have a novelization. Right? Can you think of any that you've read?
Harry Potter.
Oh,
Hunger Games.
no. Which came first?
The
Then it's not a novelization. Frozen would...
Wait, do you have the book of Frozen?
No, but there is books.
There's children's books on Frozen. Those would be novelizations. What is the benefit of a novelization?
Then you know what the movie is. But you know what it is.
You know, if the movie makes really good money, then you'll make even more money. But if the movie doesn't make much money, then you don't have to waste the money making the books.
Yeah, I'll go with it. I've got 3 reasons why novelizations are a good idea. Then we'll talk a wee bit about what famous novelizations. You get more insight into the characters, because when you read a book, you get it's a lot longer than a movie. I mean, a movie is, 2 hours long? How long does it take you to read a book?
About a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, right? So it takes days instead. You sometimes get deleted scenes. Because a novelization is usually out at the same time as a movie, it was started to be written sometimes even before the movie was started to be shot. There's famous scenes in the Star Wars novelization of the original movie that didn't make
Star Wars books?
Yeah, that didn't make it into the movie itself. There's a great one in the comic book adaptation where Darth Vader uses the Force to get his coffee. It floats across the room. Now, the big question is, how does he drink the coffee?
Robbing it.
We're using the...
Because does a wee straw extend from his mouth?
What do you mean?
Because he's got this big face mask.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, so you've got the more insight, the deleted scenes. And when I was young, before even we had videos, the only way you could experience a movie again was to read the book. I think that's why Star Wars books there were so many of them out there. And it's also Doctor Who episodes. There were books produced by Target. The only way you could experience it again is with that. In the Star Wars novel, there was lots of stuff. You had a lot more background into Luke Skywalker on Tatooine and with his friend Biggs, who got basically almost totally edited out of the movie. In the Star Wars book, Chewbacca gets a medal at the end. He doesn't get a medal in the movie. I don't know. I thought everybody thinks it's a bit silly because it's probably too much hair. So there's some great novelizations. Don't be afraid to use them. We're going to play a game. We're going to play novel or novelization. So you have to decide whether this was a book first, which would be a novel, or whether it is a movie first, which would be a novelization. Catherine, Jurassic Park. Remember those movies? Is that a novel or a novelization?
Novel?
Novel is correct.
Yay!
It was a novel by Michael Crichton before the movie came
I
out.
was going to say novelization, but then I thought no.
Yeah.
I was giving me that one.
Charlotte, Shrek.
Novelization.
You'd think so, but there was a book about Shrek
Was
before it was. The movie is based on a book about Shrek. Okay, Catherine, a very easy one. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Book.
Novel or novelization?
Novel.
Novel, that's right. J.K. Rowling wrote the novel several years before it. Charlotte, How to Train Your Dragon.
Books.
Novel or novelization?
Oh, no.
Novel, that's right, by Cressida Cowell. Okay. Catherine, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Novelization?
Novelization is wrong. It was a book first.
What? I didn't even know there was a book of it.
See, that's the amazing thing.
I want to get the book.
Charlotte, we'll go with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh.
Whoa.
She talked about that like in the last episode.
I don't know what that is.
Wait, can I guess?
We've talked about it before. You can guess.
Novelization.
It is a novelization
Yay!
because it was a radio series before it was books. So technically,
I didn't even know it was books.
There's grey areas in it as well. There's things like 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a very famous book in the 60s, and it was written at the same time that the movie was being written. So I don't quite know that. Okay, here's one for the both of you. First person to answer the right answer. Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, the girls haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire, but they know it's going to be
Novelization.
one of our next movie nights. You think novelization? Novel.
Yes! I knew it was a novel.
It's based on a book called Madame Doubtfire by Anne Fine.
I just wanted to say it first.
Okay, but I think the thing is, don't be afraid of a novelization. Don't think it's a second-class citizen when it comes to being a novel, because it can give you a better insight into the characters in the book and even some background that the movie couldn't do. Now, before we finish off, we're going to go
have some cake.
We're going to go have some cake. But you two, I'm going to give you two a reading project for the summer. So when we're going to keep on podcasting over the summer in July and August, but in September, you two come back and give a book report on the book that I will tell you to read. And I have bought you a book each.
Oh dear.
Wait, I'm going to clean my eyes.
Charlotte, first of all, I have bought you the collection of the first Ms. Marvel series, No Normal, by Wilson Afuna. If that's her name. Ms. Marvel is one of the new superheroes. She's a teenage girl, and that is what you're to read and report back to our lovely listener.
I want to close my eyes.
You want to close your eyes? Okay.
Which is blonde hair, which is a superhero, and she's brown hair, which is a human.
You need to read it to figure the whole thing out.
Weird, okay.
Okay, Catherine, close your eyes.
Maybe she was bit by a radioactive hair dye thing.
There you go, Catherine. You have got
Oh, Scooby-Doo!
Scooby-Doo Team Up Volume 2. These are all the collections.
Did you get this from the library?
No, I bought these second-hand for you two. So you have to read that and write a report for the podcast. I think this is quite exciting.
He looks so weird.
Who
is he?
I think that's Johnny Alpha or someone like
that.
that.
Was Fred for a minute.
No.
Oh, that's Scrappy-Doo, I think.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Anyway,
Batman.
Could you close it over for now? Just while we finish off the podcast, what we're going to do is play a couple of promos right now and come back and we'll do our ending tag. Ending tag. We don't tag it. We record it live every single time, just for you listeners. Okay, so we'll see you after this short break.
Bye. No.
It was 1941, and a war was raging in Europe that would spread destruction and death across the world. Superheroes like Superman, Batman, and Captain Marvel were on the rise at newsstands everywhere. But one hero was about to debut that would change the world of comics. Forever. Amazon. Goddess. Warrior. Hero. Wonder Woman, one of the most well-known and beloved comic heroes to ever grace the medium. Hello, I am J. David Weeder. Join me as I explore the comic book adventures of the amazing Amazon throughout her 75-plus years of history on the Sensational Adventures of Wonder Woman podcast. You can find the show on iTunes or at wonderwoman.supermanforever.com. The Sensational Adventures of Wonder Woman.
Xenozoic Xenophiles.
A fan podcast devoted to the comic series Xenozoic Tales.
It's a post-apocalyptic adventure series filled with Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
I'm Ruth.
And I'm Darren.
We hope you'll join us as we discuss the stories, characters, and art in this excellent comic series from creator, writer, and artist Mark Schultz.
Xenozoic Xenophiles is available at podbean.com and on iTunes and Stitcher.
And find us at xenozoicxenophiles.com.
Okay, and we're back just to say goodbye. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Marksmess Podcast, where we looked at the letter N for novels and novelizations. All characters are property of the owners and not us. Maybe you've got a favourite novels you think the girls would be interested in, or even I'd be interested in, so please send us the information. Or if you've got favourite novelisation, that would be good. That is even better than the movie itself. Do let us know. So you can contact us by email at
mymarksmess@gmail.com
or on Twitter
At Marksmess Podcast 50.
on the webpage at marksmesspodcast.blogspot.com or on the Facebook page.
Marksmess Podcast.
And thanks to Josh Woodward of joshwoodward.com for the title music. Stick around for after the end music, because Charlotte and I will be talking about Wonder Woman and our experiences with it and just our thoughts on it. Next month it is the letter O, and what will we do for letter O? Okay, Catherine's got ghosts in her mind. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. So cheerio.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to talk now with Charlotte about our trip to see Wonder Woman. So there will be spoilers, that's why it's after the closing credits. So, Charlotte, have you been looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman?
Yes, because everybody else said it was good.
And did you find it good?
It was okay.
It was okay? It wasn't fantastic?
Nah.
Right, I saw a lot of people online saying it was, not a lot, a few people have said it's the best superhero movie they've seen.
They haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 then?
Well, it's all to do with taste. It's all to do with...
They still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 then?
Okay. I've got 5 things written down that I found a bit odd about the movie and 3 things that were really good about the movie. Shall I go through that and then we'll discuss them?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay. First of all, number 1 of the not so good was too much like Captain America First Avenger, especially with the Agent Carter, Steve Rogers relationship.
Yes.
Which was the better love story, The Captain America one or the Wonder Woman one?
I don't know.
Right, because you're not interested in the kissy stuff?
No. Neither is Catherine, but she hasn't seen it.
She hasn't seen it, no. Okay. Right, so I just felt there's just too many similarities. Not only was it both of them in a war, but
A world war.
A world war, but also, the male lead was called Steve, who sacrificed his life on a plane to stop, Allied cities getting bombed. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of that. Anyway, on to the next.
What was the person from Wonder Woman? What was his last name?
Steve Trevor. He had 2 first names.
Steve Rogers. Steve Trevor. Both have last names as first name.
Yeah, that's true. Names. Elton John will be in the next one.
First names as last names or last names as first names?
Yes. Well, is there anybody called Stevenson, I suppose? Okay.
We had a trainee called Mr. Paul. He was called Andrew Paul.
Right. There's quite a few Pauls around this area.
No, he says he teaches in their Sunday school.
Yeah, Garva would have quite a few Pauls. Okay. There's Paul. I know a few people whose surname is Paul. There's quite a few. I mean, the Adams. So, okay. Anyway, let's go to the second one. Fighting in high heels.
You can't do it.
I don't know if you can't do it or you can do it, but I thought it's quite impractical. For somebody who's meant to be this uber warrior, this perfect warrior, I thought, ditch the high heels, dear.
Yeah.
If you ever see women out on a Friday night, out drinking, when they go in for the fighting, they take the high heels off.
Fighting?
What?
Fighting?
Anyway. Okay. Also, there was no explanation for the suit.
What's it?
The Wonder Woman suit, the red, white, and gold one, or red, blue, and gold. She started off in some gold warrior unitard, and then went into leotard.
Not unitard.
I don't know anything.
Like a unicorn and a leotard combined.
Which would be awesome.
No, because unicorns don't exist.
Rhinos.
Rhinos are just overweight unicorns. Then rhinos have 2 horns.
Depends which rhino. Anyway, there was no real explanation, just she saw it and thought, oh, well, I'll wear that.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. The sleeping with Steve. There was the bit where they were in the French village and or Belgium village, I don't know which it was, and her and Steve spend the night together in the room. Quite subtly done, but it was obvious that, there were, a bit of, 13, yeah? Okay. Yeah. No. Okay.
13 this December. Last December.
Anyway, it was... I didn't think it was needed for a love story, because Cap and Agent Carter, that was a better love story, where they didn't... that was always, we were going to dance. When the war's over, we'll meet and dance.
Sorry.
When the war's over, we'll meet and dance. What did you think of that?
What?
Steve and Diana getting it on.
Better. What? Wait, no. The Steve Rogers one was better.
Yeah, I don't think it was needed. Anyway, now my fourth one, because maybe I should have pointed out what number is it. The final battle was just so confusing.
Which was the final battle?
The one between Diana and the English guy with the moustache.
She had the sword.
No, the one, and
in like the camp thing.
Yeah, but she beat somebody who she thought was Ares, the god of war, but it turned out not to be Ares. It was actually the guy everybody else thought was Ares, the god of war, because they saw him earlier on, and he looked quite sinister.
Okay.
Well, you were there. You were awake.
I was awake.
And it's one of those fights that it's Ares, the god of war, can do anything. He's overly powerful, and suddenly Diana discovers she can beat him by...
either jumping or flying. We don't know which.
Yeah, we don't know whether she jumped or fly. And at the end of it, she describes it as, I beat him because of love. Yeah.
Unless love is like a sword or something. Or a gun.
Okay, let's not go there. I was about to say something that people would find ridiculous. Anyway, we watch Avengers Assemble, and we're not that thrilled with it, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we liked Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. Avengers Assemble seems to be I will bring along Ultron, who is unbeatable, and we will beat him through teamwork. Yes. Captain America says we fight as a team. Yes, and slap our thighs. And then Thanos comes along. We can't beat him unless we are teamwork again. Yes. And it's all that. And it's a bit boring. And the last fight was a bit boring because you didn't quite understand why they won. Why Wonder Woman won. She's
basically because she was wasn't she a god or something? Or a semi-god or something?
Demigod is the semi-god word. Yeah, but we couldn't quite understand.
How is demigod the semi-god word? Because semi-god is half a god and demigod is that not a quarter of a god?
You may know more than me. That's good. That's good. Also, she's not called Wonder Woman in the movie.
Called
Diana. Princess Diana.
Yeah, or Diana Prince.
Princess of Themyscira.
Themyscira.
We're just going to say that for the rest of the podcast. Themyscira. Anyway, it would be a very odd thing to put into the movie. You'd have somebody go, wow, she's a Wonder Woman. Yeah, it doesn't really work as compared to, wow, he's a Superman. Or, wow, he's a crazy Batman. Anyway, I don't know how they're ever going to go. And
wow, he's a captain from America.
The last one that just made me think, yeah, he's Captain America. He's a captain in the American Army. He represents America. Captain America. He's a man with an iron suit. Iron Man. He's a man who talks to ants. He's Ant-Man.
Hulk.
He's a big hulk of a guy.
What about Hawkeye?
They don't call him Hawkeye.
He's the eye of a hawk.
They don't call him Hawkeye.
What do they call him?
Barton. Clint Barton.
Oh, yeah. I just found out in that episode I was watching today that he was in a circus. Or a circus bunny or something.
Oh, yes, the Circus of Crime. They have it in the cartoon, but it was a slightly different circus in the comics.
Called again?
In the cartoon, what was it? The Sure Shot or something like that. Anyway, let's say about that. My number 5 in my bits are the boat journey. Remember when they left Themyscira?
On the boat.
On the boat. They got on the boat. They set sail.
Went through the wall thing.
Then they went to sleep. Mm-hmm. There was a bit of a, I can't sleep with you type of thing. And then they wake up the next morning in London, going up the Thames.
Mm-hmm.
How did they go from what I presume is the Mediterranean, or is Themyscira really just off the Isle of Wight? Okay, there's nothing we can answer. Maybe there was something said. Maybe it's because it's a magic boat. Why didn't they keep the magic boat? Anyway, so
did they not?
I don't know what happened to it.
They just left it there.
Maybe it went back home. Maybe it's a homing boat. So those are the things.
Autopilot.
What?
Autopilot.
Those are the things that made me go, huh? But the things that, it was a good movie. It was great fun.
Mm-hmm.
What was your funnest bit?
I have absolutely no clue.
Okay, I won't ask you that.
What was your funnest bit?
My funnest bit was the bit where she was trying on all the clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just for the sake of fighting, because that's what she's built for. And then she goes and wears high heels. Duh. Also, I liked the bit where Diana didn't wait for a man to help her. She was her own woman. All through the movie, it was, I'm going there to kill Ares. You can come too if you want to. Not, I'm going there to kill Ares. Can you come with me so I can make it through? Can you come with me because I'm a bit lonely? Can you come with it to me to hold my hand? That type of thing. This is a big thing about this movie, that it represents women a lot better than other movies. If you think about other heroes, female heroes.
It wasn't this in the First World War.
This was set in the First World War.
When was the suffragettes?
Round about that time.
There you go.
There we go. That's good. Let's see. You're thinking about this. But if you think about other movies where there's a female protagonist is the person you follow in the movie. The main character.
I know that.
Like who? Female protagonist. Go.
Supergirl.
In the movie. You've never seen Supergirl the movie?
No.
There is a Supergirl the movie. Someday you will. Can I give you a few and you can tell me if they're Okay. I was talking with our friend, Caroline. Hi, Caroline.
Yeah.
Who I was talking with her, about what sort of female protagonists have there been in movies recently that are good positive,
Nanny McPhee.
that are good positive role models.
Nanny McPhee, it shows
Okay.
you that you can change.
We'll come back to that in just a second. Just want to say Caroline is one of the writers in the blog, which is Girls on Film, where they discuss film. Just a few women who talk about that. It's a good blog. Seek it out. I'll try and put a link in their show notes. Nanny McPhee?
Yep.
I never considered that. Okay, let's look at Nanny McPhee. Does she do things... does she need other people to help her?
No.
Does she need a man to justify her?
No.
So, good female role model.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
And she shows you that you can change or something like that.
Something wishy-washy, love. She shows us love. Let's go with that. What about, here's a couple that Caroline suggested. Let's go with Katniss Evergreen.
Katniss Everdeen.
Whatever. Good or bad. Right. Does she need other people?
No.
I think she does. Problem I've got with the character is she doesn't really know what she's doing. As she sort of gets sucked into things.
She's just surviving, that's what she's doing.
Just survive. That's a good way of putting it. That's a better way than I was thinking. Does she need a man?
Not really.
Then why is this whole 3 books on, is it Peter? Is it the other bloke? Yeah, so I don't know about that. Let's go with another one.
The girl beside you says Moana.
Well, we're coming to that. We are coming to that. Because she remembers. Right. What about Hermione Granger?
She's not really the main character.
Not really, but she's
more of a semi-protagonist.
She's the main female character.
Yeah.
She doesn't need the boys. The boys need her. So
Yeah.
that's quite good. What was some of the ones? Yes, there was Laura Croft, who has 2 movies, but mainly a comic book, video game character. And no, I wouldn't, because she's just won't even go there. Right,
Oh.
two that have come along, Elsa and Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they don't need. I mean, I think that one of the main parts of the movie is Anna, just because she doesn't really need the prince, the fake prince, or wherever he was.
Hans.
No, Hans wasn't the prince. He was the
I know that he was a fake prince.
no, the slimy one. We need to watch this again.
There's Hans, who's the ginger one, the ginger prince.
Oh, right. What do you call the guy with the
Reindeer?
reindeer?
That's Kristoff, and
Right.
the reindeer's Sven,
And Olaf.
and Olaf is Snowman.
Yeah. Snowman, not a snow woman. Come on. Let's get 21st century on this. But at the end, they don't need, there was no big wedding at the end because they had to marry the bride. I haven't seen Moana. You have? Well, tell me. Good female protagonist, or
She needs Maui.
what is Maui?
He's basically the person who can fix it all.
Right.
He's a demigod?
Oh, well, Catherine's here. She's seen it.
Sometimes, but once she defeated the monster thing without him, sort of.
So she can do it herself.
Sort of.
So who led the way? Was it her or
No,
him?
she was just about to defeat him when she got crushed out of the water, and then he came and saved her, so she kind of did need him.
But in some part, like, she wanted to do it by herself. Like, she wanted to sail by herself and stuff.
But she couldn't, so she needed Maui.
Right. So, but okay, that's okay. In the same way that Wonder Woman needed Steve Rogers to get to the front to get to where Ares was.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Not to do the thing, but just to get there. Okay. So, anyway, I mean, it's an interesting thought about what a strong female protagonist would do. And I've talked to a few women about this. One was saying, where I sat in the cinema as a man and felt I'm a bit detached from the protagonist because I am not a female warrior from a Themyscira. She was going, well, she's a bit more attached to the Diana because, it is a female character she can connect to. Where if you look at other movies like James Bond or stuff like that, I don't really think
you can connect her because she's never seen a man before.
Right, but when I was a wee bit younger than you, I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I came out and I was running down the street as Indiana Jones. Now, I'm not an archaeologist, I am not a professor, I don't have a cool hat like that. I do now, but I didn't then.
It's mine now.
You
said I could have it.
You can't reach it where it is.
I can try.
Okay, but
I can grow.
The idea is because Wonder Woman is a woman, I found it a bit more distant, whereas this woman I was talking to thought it was a bit more closer. Think about the Marvel movies. Do you think Wonder Woman was better, as good as, or worse than the Marvel movies, as a general thing?
I think it was just lower than as better.
Right, so not quite as good. DC movies have had problems. There's been 3 in this world so far. There's Man of Steel, there's Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and now we've got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's the only one that comes out ahead in terms of critics. I saw Man of Steel, and I saw it on a video, and I had to fast forward through some of it. It was so dull. What?
Netflix.
Yeah, something like that. It was quite dull. Batman.
I don't like the way DC does it because it's all really dark.
That's what people are saying. Whereas Marvel is very light and fun. Now, let's concentrate a wee bit more on the Marvel movies and about the female heroes. Let's look at them.
Black Widow.
Right, Black Widow.
Shows that she doesn't need anybody.
But she can't have her own movie. Would you go and see a Black...
not?
Well, because they haven't made one, therefore she can't have one. Do you think out of all the... Let's see here. There's Black Widow, there's Scarlet Witch, there is Gamora.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Is that it? There will be the Wasp in the next Ant-Man and Wasp movie, but we'll probably missed out 1 or 2. But in the movies themselves, we haven't really had very many female characters. Should there be more?
Yes.
I think so as well. Now, you won those pop figures.
As they say.
Yeah. You won those pop figures from the Beano competition.
I did.
And they were great. They were of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But they could only give away 4.
And they only give away boys' ones.
Mm-hmm.
So why not Gamora? In Star Wars, they had Rey, but they didn't have many Rey dolls, and there was a big kick up about that.
But Rey was the main character.
Rey was the main character. Disney bought over Star Wars and Marvel to get a boys' audience, but what they seem to have forgotten is girls like this stuff as well.
Yep.
Yeah, and girls naturally like this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I want you two to grow up to be strong women, that you do not need a man to reassure you and hold your hand while going through life. In fact, you can be the ones that hold the hands of other people to help them through. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll need to hold a hand, sometimes you'll be the one holding the hand and reassuring. That is why for the books I chose, I gave to you guys, you got, Charlotte, the Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is not only about a teenage girl, it is also written by a woman. Mm-hmm. And it is not only about a teenage girl, it's about a teenage girl who's a minority, because she's Muslim.
All right. What does minority mean?
There's not as many about. But the idea that if you're, especially now in this climate, political climate, being Muslim is a hard thing to be, because people will,
try and kill you.
It could be that. I mean, that happened a couple of weeks ago in London, where a man in the van
last
died
week.
after.
Was it not last week?
Well, by the time this goes out.
All right.
And this book, Ms. Marvel, was also written not only by a female, but also by a Muslim. So she was writing not the same type of Muslim, because the girl in the book is a Pakistani Muslim. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but it's that type of thing. Reading books by women. I was talking to your mother, And she is big into her Charlotte Bronte and her Jane Eyre and that type of things. And those are strong women. Women are the central characters in those.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not necessarily nice women, but they're still women as central characters. So anyway, let's finish off by Wonder Woman. Would you watch Wonder Woman again? Let's go with this. Right. Ones you'd watch it, go again to the cinema. Ones you would buy the DVD as soon as it's out. Ones you'd wait for the DVD to be cheaper. Then you'd wait for it to be on TV. Or never watch again.
Probably either wait for the DVD to get cheaper or watch on TV.
Right. So not enough for you to buy, but enough for you to be interested. Would you be interested in watching Batman versus Superman, which has the first appearance of this Wonder Woman?
If it came on TV.
If it came on TV. Because one of the things we both liked was the book ending of the movie, where you had at the start, she's in modern day France, and she gets a parcel from Bruce Wayne. And at the end, you see her again in that context. Right, we'll leave it there, and we'll talk to you again next month. And if you have seen Wonder Woman, drop us a line and let us know what you thought.
Bye.